Hi, Creaker and Creaker parents, Piper here, and today I've got Popsie joining me, and we are making this video specifically for our girls starting our leadership program. We call them our Sparks, and we're very excited to share with you what to expect in your Spark year. First, I want to start off by telling you a little bit about our leadership program. It is a 4-year program, and our goals of this program are to empower young girls to be leaders in their everyday lives, but also to help grow our own staff and to continue our mission at CLC, which is empowering girls and young women. So we really want to focus today on our Sparks, which is our first year incoming 9th graders. But after our 9th grade year, which is open to everybody, the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade years are by invitation only. Now, a lot of girls get very anxious about the idea of promotion, but the whole idea of promotion is to set our girls up for success, and that's what we try and do. So if a girl does not meet all the requirements or expectations, then we might ask them to repeat a year, or they might decide they don't want to come back and it's not their thing, which is fine too. But we really want to set them up for success. And I'm very happy to report that we've been gathering data for the last 7 years and have shown a significant growth in our girls' confidence level, in their approach to challenges, and in their self-efficacy skills. Now, this is based on self-evaluations, which we take into consideration into promotion. They take a survey of themselves at the first day of camp session and at the last day of camp session, and then we compare and contrast those to see their growth. We also take into consideration in promotion the staff input and the administration input before we make that final decision. So let's talk a little bit about what our Spark year looks like, and why don't you introduce it to us, Pops?
All right. Yeah. So like Piper said, Sparks are incoming 9th graders, and they have to come to a 2-week session in order to participate in the program. And our 9th graders are really an ideal age for growing their independence, learning self-care, which is really important, being a role model to younger campers, and really experiencing and knowing that they can make a difference in the world just by being themselves. And Piper and I really consider it an honor to be able to mentor all of these young women as they are growing into understanding themselves as leaders.
And we think that young girls are really the true leaders, and they can easily make the world a better place, and we just want to give them the skill set to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. So there are so many skills to be learning constantly, and the ones that we focused on for our 9th grade year include girls learning effective communication skills, decision-making and problem-solving skills, running activities for small groups of campers, which is a little bit of facilitation, and then the last 3 we focus a lot on, which is to learn how to self-evaluate, which Piper already talked about a little bit, but to really understand and intuitively feel that how they are doing, that if they're needing to work on something, that how that feels, and versus if they're doing well, knowing how that feels inside themselves and being able to own that. And
that might be reaching out for help,
absolutely,
or advice, or support.
And with that comes learning how to hear assertive communication and feedback. And this is huge because you need to be able to hear things from teachers, and then as they grow up, their supervisors, and to know how to hear that, take it, grow, and work with it versus internalizing it to mean something negative about themselves.
Right.
And then with that as well comes practicing self-talk that's positive and encouraging, and we really focus on that as a skill because it is a skill. You have to practice what it sounds like in your head of how you think you're doing, which goes back to the self-evaluation.
Right. And we talk a lot about this throughout the Spark year. We hire a specific leadership counselor to live with these girls, to help mentor them, Popsie and I try and spend a lot of time with them and give them this feedback. And some examples of this are if a Spark decides to sit out during free swim and there are other girls that are sitting out as well, we might say to the Spark, hey, instead of reading your book, why don't you try and engage these girls in a conversation or go play a game of Gaga or whatever. And what we hope she hears is a suggestion for how to implement her leadership and be a role model, as opposed to hearing us say, you shouldn't be sitting there reading a book, because that's not what we're saying. Yeah. We're trying to give opportunities for them to use their leadership skills and for us to see them and demonstrate them. And the other thing I think that is a very big part of all 4 years of our leadership program is failing. And parents, this message is really specifically for you, though the campers hear me talk about this a lot. At CLC, we want girls to learn how to fail well, because it is a part of the learning process, and we don't want them to be discouraged by failing, but only to use it as a tool for how to do things better, to try a different strategy, to explore their own strengths and weaknesses. So I think that's something that is really important to know going in, that we kind of have built in, well, we've definitely built in some failure, because we want to see how they handle that. So that's coming. So Pops, let's talk a little bit about how we implement this, and specifically our Bigs and Littles program.
Okay. Yeah, so all the ninth graders are assigned a little sister, not right when they get to camp. We actually wait because we want to meet our little sisters, which are usually the 7-year-olds. And so Piper and I don't actually have a lot of previous knowledge about them because they're new. And so we wait just to meet them, get a little bit of sense of their personality. And then by day 2 or 3, then we are able to pair off the ninth graders with a camp little sister. And the ninth graders then are guided to spend some time with them, learn about them, ask them questions. And it might be that they might be a little bit nervous to talk to a camper that's younger than them, but usually they find out how easy it is. Because once you get a 7-year-old talking, it's pretty fun. It's pretty easy. And so we build in time for the Sparks to spend with their little sister by having them walk them to classes, having them sit together at a few meals, not all meals, because we have open seating at dinner, and so that's one of the times when they could do that. And then maybe a little bit of time during some all-camp activities like gathering. And usually by the end of the session, it's, they're hand in hand all over camp. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. And then within that program, they do a little activity where they plan like a social fun activity. It's something like, it's a bit of surprise. It's like ice cream, midnight swim. It's not really at midnight.
They don't know that.
They don't know that.
Yeah.
The 7-year-olds think it is. And then we do my favorite thing, which is our wish granting program. And so that is where we really are allowing our Sparks to experience how they impact anyone around them, but specifically younger campers, and that no matter how they show up, they are always influencing other people around them. And so this is a specific way to feel that impact. So they ask their little sister for 3 wishes, and it might be something like wanting a whole bunch of chocolate, wanting to go flying, wanting to be invisible. And then the ninth graders get to work together. They each grant 1 wish for their little sister, but they work together within their cabin to creatively make that happen. So a lot of times they'll need their cabin mates' help to do whatever it is that they're going to do. Right. And it gets really creative.
It does.
And silly. And the 7-year-olds really, they feel that. They feel how cared for, and just how cool that it is that somebody that's older than them, that's not a parent, not a teacher, can take the time and make something cool happen for them.
Yeah. And it demonstrates to our Sparks just how much in a leadership role, how much you can influence others, and that with that privilege and responsibility, there is responsibility, and it goes hand in hand. And so that's what we try to implement. The other part of the Spark program is leading songs. Songs are a very big part of our camp culture, especially at mealtime. And so the Sparks are responsible for leading those songs. And we have songbooks, and they can teach songs. Every year has a different way. Every session has a different way of how they choose to lead songs during meals. We are always open to new ideas. And sometimes they try and it doesn't work, and they'll try something else. I mean, we've had suggestion jars and calling out songs and a number of different ways. And so you decide that together. And then at the end of the session, again, you fill out a self-evaluation. And you kind of have to do a little bit of a gut check to say, wonder how I did. Generally, I would say Sparks walk out of the program, their session, knowing how they did. They can feel how they did. They can feel their growth. They can feel the success they've had and the influence they've had on camp. We also gather information from their leadership counselor in the cabin, from the counselors they were in classes with, to know if they took on roles just spontaneously, helping clean up or running an errand or offering to help a younger camper in that class. Those are all things that we want to know about and see how they did. We also want to make sure that we provide opportunities for all different kinds of leaders. So you don't have to be the loudest. You don't have to be the most outgoing to be a leader. Sometimes leading is by example, and we're pretty passionate about really celebrating those leaders. So then at the end, we take all that information together and we sit down as a team and go through each spark, flame, torch, or blaze and decide if they are ready for the next level of our leadership program. Our letters go out in the fall, and that's when you'll know for sure. And we just want everyone to remember that we try and set every level up for success. Every camper we want to set up for success. So if they aren't ready, we typically will try and work with them either to repeat a session, a level, or it might just be having a conversation with Popsie and I, because we need to know what their interest levels are. Do they want to be promoted? Are they interested in learning more coming back? That's all a part of our decision-making process. So again, trying to set them up for success, not wanting them to come back and be miserable, because that's not what we want. Anyway, we are very excited to have our new Sparks coming in. Please make sure to register soon, because sessions fill up. And we want you to be able to come when it's a good time for you and your family. So sign up soon. And if you have any questions, let us know. You can email me at sunny@camplanterncreek.com or popsie@angie@camplanterncreek.com. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great summer. See you soon. Bye.